Hi Pisces, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your October 16th to the 30th, 2021 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Pisces, October 16th to the 30th, 2021, Pisces. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Lovers, which if we have Gemini energy within our natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully at our root. And then we have Scorpio energy, the Death card. So if we have Scorpio also within our natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully at our root. We have the Seven of Water, the Seven of Cups. There's a dream coming forward. And then we have the Six of Cups. There's something nostalgic about the past that we're going to have to kind of cut in half. We're going to have to really look at it and say, why am I holding on to this? And there's going to be this sense of, why am I holding on to this? And what am I falling in love with? And how am I moving forward? And there's just this sea of questions that are coming forward, which is really quite cool. It brings us to the Four of Pentacles. This is emotionally, we're holding on to something. We also have our heart. We have our heart a little bit blocked. So there's at our root the sense of love, and it can be around a air sign energy, but it can also be around being able to express our voice the way that we want to. And then we have the Page of Cups, which is a release of our voice, a release of what we want from life. And there's a sense of we're getting inspiration from the most unlikely of places. And there's a sense here of us being a student of our hearts and how to feel, which is funny because you're going to roll your eyes, Pisces, and say, I know how to feel. I feel like so intensely all the time. But there's this sense of being a student how to embrace our hearts, because there has been a sense of, yes, we've been feeling a lot, but what we really need to feel, what we really need to embrace, we've almost been, pushing to the back of our minds. We then have here charity, and there's a sense of generosity around us in the public arena. There's somebody who has our backs, and there's a sense of charity. There's a sense of, it's not necessarily like getting a handout, but there's somebody here who's like they're holding their hand out to you and saying, let me pull you forward. Now this could be somebody who has passed on, who's trying to inspire you, but this can also be somebody in our day-to-day life that's here for us, that's a rock, and that we usually overlook because they're always there. So just be mindful of that in the public arena. And we have the Sun, which is the happiest card in the whole entire deck. There is also this sense of being able to embrace generosity because our own sun, our own light is shining so brightly. Others will be jealous of this. So just be mindful of that, Pisces. Let's look at the energy we have to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. We have to be mindful of the hidden words, people lying about money or what they value as much as money. There's going to be this sense here of, I'm not telling you the full truth. You know, it's almost like they talk with their hand over their mouth. And just like that, where it's all mumbled and muddled, that's what you're going to be feeling from this person. This could be a person who mumbles. You know, you can meet this person and you could think, wow, it just sounds like they have marbles in their mouth. And they're not going to make themselves clear because they want to advance themselves in a very certain way. And they don't really care about your advancement. So just be mindful about that. But there is going to be the sense of either they tend to talk and like walk away from you and talk really softly, or it can also be that they have a mask on, you know, they're wearing a mask and they just mumble a lot and it's just so hard to understand them. So be mindful about that. Our chakra energy, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. We have rebirth, which is the Earth Star chakra located 6 inches below our feet. There is this sense here that as we connect more and more with our earthly self, with our grounded self, we start to transform, we start to become, and we start to see things very, very differently. And that's going to be really great because we have this transformation here. We also have a transformation towards what we love, towards what we want, towards how we're embracing our life and ourselves. So let's start off with the astrology of it all. On the 16th of October, this is the best way to start this time period for us. We have Mercury sextile Venus, and this is just beautiful energy. Mercury controls communication, Venus rules love, and we have this wonderful sense of, you know, being able to pull people in around us, being able to sit and have beautiful conversations and just laugh with friends and family. And we really like to have people around us during this time. This isn't the time to kind of lock ourselves away. This is a time to express. This is a time to turn our face up to the sun. This is a time for real enjoyment. This day should be one of a little bit of indulgence, just a little bit, like Spirit is saying, just a little bit, not too much, but this little bit of indulgence that really opens our hearts up, that moves us forward, that has us really achieving what we want and making us feel lovely. Now, the 17th of October, we kind of step back into the energy that we've been used to with the state of the world, with the new moon that we have just been through. There's this energy that is all about the ego. It's all about, you know, me, but it's almost like if I don't get it, somebody else will, and then it'll be taken from me forever. So it makes us almost feel like we're backed up into a corner. And that's just going to go so against the energy of the 16th of October of Mercury sextile Venus that we had that it's almost going to feel uncomfortable. For a lot of us Pisces, we're going to be like, oh man, what the heck is with this day? And we're going to just want to step away from everybody because everybody's going to be rather ego driven. And this is going to be a time for us where we sit there and we think, maybe I'm just wrong. Like maybe I'm just not cut out for what everybody else is doing. And we can really start doubting ourselves. So do be mindful of that. We will be drawn to intensity. You know, we will be drawn to this intensity of our expression, this intensity of ourselves. We will be drawn to really intense people. Again, we have to make sure that what they say is clear. It can also be somebody who uses a lot of flowery words, but never actually says anything. So do be mindful of this on this day. Now, on the 18th of October, we have a lot of things happening. We have Jupiter coming direct, we have Mercury coming direct, and we have Mars trine Jupiter. So what we start off with Jupiter going direct. Now, when Jupiter goes retrograde, which it did in June, we are given a 4-month period where we look at our spiritual and inner needs. And we don't even know that we're doing this, but all of a sudden things start coming up, and they come up rather profoundly. It's like, this is what I need spiritually, this is what I need inwardly, this is what I need to address, this is where I need to gather my voice and move myself forward. This is a time of really seeing harsh truths and really being honest with ourselves in a way that we weren't before. It's almost like something that was a great shame now becomes a catalyst for us to springboard off of and say, but this is my power. This is me. Like, why am I ashamed of me? Why am I hiding from me? There is power here within my voice. And now as Jupiter goes direct, we have this courage and this insight to act on what it is that we really want and what it is that we've learned and where it is that we want to be. So we take advantage of this time. We need to take advantage of this time because there's the sense here of, well, I can spend my whole life ashamed of myself, of this aspect of myself, or I can jump in, with both feet feet and say, this is who I am, this is what I want, this is what I desire. Now we do have Mercury coming direct, which we can, celebrate, yay, no more Mercury retrograde. But what happens is that we enter into a shadow period from the 18th of October to the 2nd of November. We have this shadow period going on that still has this like cloak, this veil, this, fog of Mercury retrograde around us. Now, the fact of the matter is communications aren't always going to be the best during this time, but what really comes forward is the star alignment. We have the fixed star Vendemiatrix coming in, and Vendemiatrix is just not the nicest star that you want aligned with you during this time. And so here, when we look at it, we are going to find that this brings us melancholy, this brings us macabre, undertones to things. This brings us impatience and rash decision making. And so it really just makes us want to push things forward, just wants to, go after. And yet also has us really embracing a low energy vibration. If we don't come to this with a high energy vibration, if we don't come to this time kind of knowing that, yes, we have the beautiful energy of Jupiter direct and the beautiful energy of Mars trine Jupiter, but Mercury retrograde can rip that all from us. Because how you can have a lovely day and then this one person says something that's jerky, that's hurtful, and all of a sudden your day's ruined. That's kind of what Mercury direct is going to be like with the star alignment. The Vendemiatrix energy has us, reading books that are really macabre, that have a lot of true crime, or watching things on TV or YouTube that's true crime, that's murder, that's horror. And we're going to find that this is a time where if we watch that, we're going to say, I don't know why I'm sad, but I am. I don't know what's messing with my head, but I just don't feel like myself. That's it. That's going to be the stuff that we have to throw away and say, no, I don't have time for this. Now we have the fixed star Parima also coming into play during this time. And if we come to this with low energy vibration, if we let Vendemiatrix, do its dirty work, all of a sudden Parima makes us very nihilistic. It's like, what's the point? Nothing matters. I'm not going to get to where it is that I want to be. Look how old I am. Look how, far I have to come. Look at this, look at that. And we're going to have all these different reasons why we can't, instead of why we absolutely can. But if we come to Parima with a high energy vibration, all of a sudden, we start to see the underhanded side of people without being drawn into their mess and their muck and their mire. So all of a sudden, we can start to call people out. We can start to be like, oh yeah, smile to their face and be like, I don't trust you at all. So it can be a really good thing with Parima coming in if we keep a high energy vibration. And on the 18th of October, that's just going to be what we have to do. Because then we have Mars trine Jupiter, which is just a brilliant burst of energy of success and moving forward and of strength and of confidence and of this beautiful, sensual, creative energy that we get to really embody and move forward in. So if we can, curtail or nip, the Mercury direct energy in the bud, that's going to be the best thing for us. Luck is going to be on our side with Mars trine Jupiter. We just have to believe in it and meditate on our sacral chakra, meditating on the traumas and dramas that we have carried forward, because we can see that really coming into play with our inner self. Now, on the 20th of October, we have the Hunter's full moon in Aries, which there will be a separate video done on that. And this is a very sacred moon in a lot of cultures. On the 2nd of October, we have Mars squared Pluto, and we are set to achieve our potential on this day. There's a sense of increase, there's a sense of power, there's a sense of drive and determination, and we feel like we can just keep going. Like we just have this energy and have this burst of power to really embrace and to really, enjoy. This is a time to get the job done. This is a time to go after what it is that we want. Our tempers can be a bit short during this day because we're going to see that we're really focused on what we want, but others are also going to be really focused on what they want. And we're all going to think like, why can't you just see what I'm seeing? So do be mindful of that. Now, highlight the 26th of October. Circle it in red on your calendar. Put a notification in your phone, because this is Venus squared Neptune, and this day messes with us. This is going to be a tricky time. We are going to find it really hard to embrace self-love, to recognize our worth. This is going to be a time of heightened sensitivity. We have to remember that we matter, because it is going to be so easy on this day to just forget that we matter and to look at everything that we've gotten wrong, everything that we haven't achieved, every way that we haven't moved forward, and think, that's it, it's done. Like, I failed in just this catastrophically big way. And we have to not be so melodramatic on this day. We can have times where we don't feel like we're, achieving the best or that we're doing everything that we wanted to, but that's okay. There are times where we have our lows, but there are also brilliant highs to be had. And this day is just going to be a bit of a dip. So be mindful of that. We can burn sage to clear away the energy. We can do the singing bowl. We can take Epsom salt baths, whatever it is that we need to center ourselves. That's going to be a really great thing. Now, also focusing on our heart chakra on this day, focusing on love and acceptance of self and understanding of self, that's going to be really important. Now, this energy kind of bleeds into the 27th of October, which we have nothing really happening on the 27th of October, except that it's sandwiched between two polar opposite times. So we have the Venus squared Neptune, which is harsh, and we don't remember that we love ourselves, and we don't remember our worth, and we're going to be really down on ourselves and look at everybody else and scroll through people's, Facebook pages and whatever pages and Instagram and this and that. They're all their social media, and just think, wow, look at what they've done and what I haven't. Look at how happy they are and look at how sad I am. People don't usually take pictures of themselves when they're miserable and at their worst, when they haven't showered for a couple of days, and when they just feel like crud. We censor ourselves. We want people to see us as happy, and so we put that forward. At least most people do. So this is going to be a time where we have to remember that, where we have to step out of our own heads. Now, on the 27th of October, we have the energy of kind of the down energy of Venus squared Neptune, but then we have the really high energy of Venus sextile Jupiter. So we can feel like the 27th is a bit of a roller coaster ride. Now, the 28th of October, we have Venus sextile Jupiter, which washes away the doubts and the fears of Venus squared Neptune and has us knowing that we are loved, that we are worthwhile, has us like wrapping us in this beautiful hug of balance and of understanding and of compassion and of the sense of, don't you want an adventure? Like, don't you want to open up the door and see where life takes you? This is a great time to indulge, but not overindulge, but just to be able to treat yourself and say, I deserve nice things. I deserve, a beautiful sense and feeling of self. I deserve to walk in confidence with my being. On the 30th of October, the sun is squared Saturn, and this is a beautiful place to end because we are given the challenges around our insecurities, and we are told not to run away from them. There's this sense here of, I see what's holding you back, and I'm going to challenge you a bit in this area. Divinity is really giving us this conversation. And this is a time where we start to show ourselves and we start to show others how far we've come, how different we are, how powerful we are. This is a day for late bloomers. This is a day for those of us who have forgotten our way, and those of us, again, who are late bloomers, who maybe didn't do everything where everybody else did something. And now we're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get there. I'm never going to find the love of my life. I'm never going to have the family that I want, or I'm never going to have the career that I want, or I'm never going to have, whatever. Excuse me. See, Spirit just choked me from saying that. They're like, don't say it. We're going to think that. We're going to think, oh my gosh, it's never going to happen. And why I say the negative as well as the positive is because whenever I hear the positive, I'm always like, yeah, I'm right there. I absolutely believe in me. But then the negative comes in and I'm like, oh yeah, I think of that late at night. I can hear that going through my head while I'm waiting for the kettle to boil. So here, it's like, understand that we all have fears. We all have doubts. We all have this chaos around us. But it doesn't mean that just because we didn't do this in this perfect time frame, that we're never going to get to the place that we want to be. At our root here is love. And what we're being shown is we're being asked, what do you love, Pisces? What do you love? What do you want? What do you desire? And so here when we're asked that, it's not to question us. It's not to, try and start something with us. What it's saying is, what are you falling in love with and why? And make sure it's deeper than just the surface. Because underneath the surface here, she is a skeleton and she has a skull right there. She's luring him to his end because she's only seeing what she wants to take from him and he's only seeing what he wants to take from her. And yet there is this beautiful understanding when people really embrace love that you cannot change the other person. You cannot make them into what we want. And yet that's usually what we fall in love with. We fall in love with the idea of a person. We fall in love with the ideal of a person. We fall in love with what we want them to be. And then slowly and steadily, we see openly and honestly who they are. And that can differ so much than what we thought. And so here we're asked, what do we love? not who do we love, not what are we supposed to be sacrificing for, not what are we supposed to love, because everybody's going to look at us funny if we don't, but we're being asked here, what do you love? What do you need, Pisces? What is your heart and your passion? Are you falling in love with life again? How are you falling in love with life? How are you opening up your heart and your soul? Because there's a dying away of the old self, a rebirth of the new. That is always the thing with Scorpio energy. But it's this thing of, I'm not the same person that you thought I was. And we can't even feel that with ourselves. As we look inward, it's like, ooh, when did I become hard? Or when did I become cynical? And yet that harshness, that cynicalness, the cynicality, I don't know, is different. It's different. We're not that naive person that we once were. And for some of us, we want that back. We want that sense of safety and that sense of, I could be wide-eyed and innocent and just think everything was going to work out because I didn't know that things could fail and fail so intensely. And so here with the Scorpio energy, we're transformed. We are reborn. We are gaining a greater understanding of ourselves. We are seeing ourselves more openly and honestly, and we're walking between worlds. And Pisces, that's something that's very easy for us. To walk between the earthly plane and the spiritual plane, to understand ourselves and our desires and our wants. And if we are open with ourselves, understand how the heart leading us changes us. And that's where we start to look at what we long for. Now, there's a part of us that really longs for the past to come forward and be like, okay, just joking, everything's back to the way that it once was. And yet we can't ever walk backwards. There's a wish here for the past to come forward. And there can be a living in the past that just is comforting, or just is that berating that we're used to, just that wound that we're used to. The past might not have been perfect at all. Actually, could have very well been, and it probably was, very far from perfect. But there's this sense here of, but that's what I knew. That's what I knew and that's what I wanted. Like, I want what I'm comfortable with again. And Pisces, that's a thing for us. We want what we're comfortable with. We don't want things to change too much, too quickly. And this is a time where things change rather intensely. And we're starting to see our hearts. We're starting to see our wishes, our desires, the things that we've, locked away and said, okay, another day. Another day, I'll bring this to the forefront. Another day, I'll embrace what I desire. Another day, I'll see what my heart truly wants. And this is a time where we need to say to ourselves, but it's now. But it's now, and the past does not get to have this ruling over us. And the past can be something brilliant, but it also brings with it this insecurity, this sense of I can't because of negativity that was spoken over me, because of a curse that I have. What is a curse but negativity spoken over us that weasels its way into our heads, into our souls, into ourselves, and makes us think that we just can't. And so here, we're releasing the past, and we're cutting it in half. We're, taking that fish and we're feeding us with the memories of the past, but we're also having us move forward in the present. And it brings us to this place where we start to realize that a lot of our heart has been stagnant. And I'm not saying this in a bad way or to pick on us at all, Pisces. What this is to say that other people don't get to have this vampiric power over us to control our minds, to control our hearts, to take the energy from the earth from us. This is a time where we start to say, why? Why have I been silencing myself? Why haven't I been seeing my gifts? Why aren't I moving forward the way that I want to? Why aren't I expressing my heart and the soul that I have the way that I need to? And this is a stagnation around our creativity, around our voice. There's a real stagnation around our voice and our expression. And this is going to be a time where we're like, damn this. And excuse my language, but it's like, I need to express myself the way I need to express myself. I need to move forward towards the dream and the goal that I have. I need to embrace more. And as I embrace more, we embrace the Queen of Swords, the person who cuts through the doubts and the fears and the negativity, the warrior queen. We start to become a warrior of our mind, and our mind and our hearts start to come together and start to say, I see you. I see what you feel so deeply, and I see what you're thinking about so intensely. And there's power and purpose and a place for you here. There's a sense of my words have power and passion to them. I need to embrace them. I need to cut through the muck and the mire that's held me back for too long and embrace the depth of my insight and my ideas. The swords are the only weapon within the tarot. The swords also take an astoundingly long time to learn, and the only item of pure nobility. And so here, as we embrace this, we embrace the noble, the powerful, the purposeful aspect of ourselves, and we start to dive into our hearts more and more. We start to see the chaos of emotions that are around us, and we start to see that inspiration comes from the most unlikely of places. It guides us forward. It leads us to the unknown. And as we see this, we start to say, I don't know, but I'm not ignorant. I'm not sure, but I'm not ignorant. And so here, that question starts to move us forward. And it's almost like we take that question and we run with it. We create with it. We excel with it. It's like everything that should be just so falls away. And we're left with a little bit of chaos. And that little bit of chaos is this beautiful place of creation and of insight. And it leads us to this charity that we start to have with ourselves, this generosity that we start to have with ourselves. Yes, others have been helping us and giving to us, or it can be one specific person that's really always had our back. But there's a sense that we start to be charitable with the way that we think and look and feel about ourselves in the public arena, instead of seeing ourselves as failures or doubting that we can move forward in the way that we want to, or excuse me, even questioning our work and the way that we're going after things. We start to be charitable and say, you know what, there's power here. Everybody has their good days, everybody has their bad days, but there's power here. And I get to embrace that power, and it leads us to the sun. It leads us to this beautiful cacophony of brilliance and understanding and insight and ideas. It leads us to the happiest card in the whole entire deck. It's like, I get to be radiant. I get to be absolutely radiant, and nobody gets to take this from me. Will people take us by eyes? Absolutely. Most people in the world do not like to see other people happy, because it's like, oh, well, you're so happy. I'm so happy for you, but I wish that was me. And this is a time where we start to say, you know what? I'm happy for your happiness, for other people's happiness, right? But this is me shining. This is where I am right now. And I'm not going to rush or change or, corrupt my journey in any way, shape, or form. This is my soul. This is my passion. This is my desire. This is myself. And I'm letting it shine like a beacon. It moves us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of. And that's the King of Wands. The King of Wands is this sense of, it all has to be so intense. It all has to be so intense. And there's also this sense of, it's almost like a cheating energy. It really is. It's like this person who's, as my mother would say, too hot to trot type of deal going on here. And it's the sense of, I'm the fire that will consume, and I'm the fire that will consume another person and another and another. It could be through their temper. It could be through sexual prowess. It could be through whatever it is here. But it's almost like this energy wants to evaporate you, burn up all the water. Be mindful of this. Our subconscious chakra energy is grounding, again, the Earth Star chakra, sinking our feet into the soil, connecting with the earth, feeding ourselves, getting those nutrients, making sure that we're taking care of our hearts, our souls, and what we desire in life. It moves us to our subconscious, It moves us to our subconscious rooted energy, which is the Fool. There is a new journey here. There's a new journey that's leading us forward. There's a new sense of going after what we want, what we desire, what we need. There's a sense of feeling foolish. It's like, oh my gosh, can I do this? And the answer is yes, I can. Yes, I can. Because remember, every hero's journey starts with us being the mocked fool, the person who's laughed at, the person who's ridiculed. And as we move forward, we start to say, why didn't I start to believe in myself before? Why didn't I start to go after this before? There's also something here about the darkness that's tried to cover us, that's tried to deny us, that's tried to drown us. And there's a sense here of, I'm not letting myself be taken away. I'm not letting this passion, I'm not letting this brilliance be taken away from me. Our subconscious inner energy is the goddess of air, embracing again that power of our voice, the weaving of the webs, the construction and the brilliance of our energy and our ideas and our desires and what we want and what we need and who we are. There's this beautiful sense of a coming together, but it has to be through our breath. It has to be through our voice. It has to be through our expression. It leads us to our subconscious emotional self, and that is the Horned One. Now, this is the devil energy, yes, most definitely. But this is also a sense of looking at what has been hidden from us, what has been denied from us, what we haven't understood, understood and starting to see a little light within the darkness, a little inspiration within the chaos. And it comes from that rooted self. It comes from that questioning self. It comes from the old addictions, the old fears that we are now turning into allies, that we are now turning into triumph. That's going to be a big thing, a big thing. It's Capricorn energy, yes. And there's a sense of I'm not going to be kept down at all. And it moves us then to our subconscious public arena self. And that's the 10 of Wands. It's understanding that we have this huge weight upon our shoulders. We're like carrying the world upon our shoulders. And it's time to stop. It's time to absolutely positively stop. And it's time to release everything that we're carrying, whether it be mental, whether it be physical, and let ourselves be able to express what we want and what we need from our lives and for ourselves. Let ourselves be able to look up and see the sun and smile and just embrace the change of the winds and the freedom from not being weighed down like Atlas. Remember, Atlas was punished by having to hold up the earth. And it's like, you don't have to hold everything up anymore, Pisces. You just don't. It's time to set yourself free. It's time that we are set free. And as we are set free, we're actually able to enjoy our lives and smile and laugh and embrace love and beauty and intricacy of being. All right, Pisces. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the freedom that is to come. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Pisces.